when we met a few days ago for the first time,
Yeah.
I saw you were wearing a vampire shirt, and then I talked to you about reading Bram Stoker's Dracula, and like I'm
Yes.
obsessed. So what's your connection there to vampires?
I'm not gonna lie, and I don't, I'm not even trying to be pretentious about anything. That is one of the things that I just started to get into because of the aesthetics. I just like it. It's just, to me, it just looks dope. I mean, of course, I had contact with like vampire, the theme of vampires, vampirism, and whatnot through movies before, even as a teenager or like a older kid when I was like, I don't know, 10, 11 or whatever, and was watching, what was it back then, Supernatural and stuff like that, and where you had like through media you knew like vampires, but back then most of them, except for maybe like Twilight and things like that, they were like these weird like huge monsters, which I also thought were super cool, like super sick. And over time, it just came. I just came to like it more. And I remember in my grandparents' hometown, but where they live now, which is not too far off of my hometown, they had like let's say it was like an old house from like the, I don't know, 1700s or whatever, like a huge house where they had like a little
I see.
almost museum kind of vibe
I
with
see.
like different animals. And in the like they had one, I don't know if it was maybe like a clock tower or whatnot, where you could like go up all the way up until the roof. And right below whatever was up top there, maybe it was a clock, I don't remember.
Wow.
They had like bats there, and that just was so cool to me. And I was like, and you could see them flying around sometimes, depending on the time you were there. And I was like, this is so
Wow.
cool. And I just started to get into that mainly. And I'm not gonna lie, it's because of aesthetics. And I just think bats look cool, vampires are cool. They're just sick. And then if you think about it, the concept of the bat, and some of them being, or mainly using like sonar to just fly around and hear like these little insects that I probably can't even see with my eye. They're just seeing them, I don't know, flying around everywhere, and just swoop in and catch them and just eat them. And it's like,
It's
how the
so
fuck,
crazy.
how do you do that?
Wow. Yeah, no, I know. Like, I just was gonna say vampires. Bats are so cool. Basically, when I was living in London, I would go by this like foresty kind of. I had like a park, but it was more like a forest. It was weird. Like you would go into like one little side street. All of a sudden, you were like in the jungle. It felt like, and so in
Okay.
that foresty vibe, whatever that was, there were so many bats, and they were flying
Hmm.
around like at night. At first, I was like, it was weird because I was out there at night alone, and I would like look at the sky, and there was like the moon. It was so eerie.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
these bats would fly by, and I was like thinking somehow they look, so I didn't realize it was bats. So I was thinking like these birds look kind of weird. And then I realized they're bats, and I was, it's like, it's this eerie feeling when you have you, for anyone who's listening who's ever mistaken a bat for a bird, or a bird,
Hmm.
which I don't know how the sentence goes, but basically it's kind of shocking, and it's a bit scary in the beginning.